Okay, hi. Our anthology is 46. Is Media Magic. I'm Precious Moore.
I'm Desiree Mormon.
I'm Bianca Seymour.
I'm Rita Rogers.
Okay, just to start off, our anthology was basically about the media and how they kind of downgrade the poor. Talking about how the poor, if the reason why they like in poverty is because of them, and then it goes to talking about the wealthy, how they have more of the up power, and how the middle class is the working class, and how just so while society wants everybody to be treated fair and equal, well, that is not the case. While the media plays a big role in our lives, it can be a very dangerous thing because the media makes the poor seen as a very degrading, and if they do cover the poor, they try to belittle them. The media tells us that poverty is a abbreviation of the American way of life. It doesn't exist. It's just another number of life. It's unfortunate but temporary, or an end product of the poor themselves. They do not deserve better, and they have brought predicament upon themselves. But much of the information we see on the media is about the wealthy and how they are doing. In the new media either alliances the wealthy or treats their interests as those in the middle class or those insane.
Cool. Piggybacking off of what Precious said, the media does do a big job or play a big role in how it demonizes poor people and poverty in general in our society. Poor people are looked at to be seen as the blame for everything. They're looked at the reason for their own misfortunes in this life and in this world, not the wealthy that are keeping millions and millions of dollars away from them, resources, education, things like that that can possibly help them get out of poverty. They're not looked at or seen as bad people for it. Because the media does such a good job at, I guess, blaming them for their own life and blaming them for their own mishaps, it's their way of demonizing them, inhumanizing them. And when you inhumanize somebody, you're able to do whatever you want to them, and that's how they're treated.
Yeah, when the media addresses the poor, the media focuses mainly on things that's going on in the area. They'll bring up statistics with drug addicts. They'll bring up the violence in the neighborhood, or they'll bring up things with everything that doesn't have to do with helping them. They stated in the anthology that the upperclassman has a few bad apples when these are people that's able to make change for homelessness that don't at all. The middle class, like she stated, are the working class, but they're the class that doesn't have anything to either help or hurt. They're still stuck in struggling as well. When they do address the poor, they portray the poor so bad to where, I know in my hometown they have sweeps where if you're living under the bridge or you sleeping on the sidewalk, they'll pick up everything you got and put it in the trash can. Just because, like in the anthology, address that the poor are an eyesore to the people that come through. So it's basically a money thing as always, and they basically are already living on the streets, but how can you take everything from them that they have, or the little bit that they do own, just because you feel as though they're an eyesore when you're not making any change for them to be able to at least alleviate themselves from being poor or trying to obtain something different from themselves. There, as the anthology addressed as well, there are 40 million people that are homeless, and that is an outrageous number for the amount of people that we have that can make change but don't choose to. It does include some things about race, how African Americans are, whites, African Americans, Latinos are looked more as to being impoverished than whites, of course. And that's kind of
For being out in the street or been, park benches, loitering, so they say. Where do poor people go? Where do they live? They have no shelters. They have no type of resources to go to. So instead of trying to find them resources or trying to find a safe haven for them, you just arrest them and put them in, basically behind bars. They can't pay their way out because, once again, they're poor. So then it's just a continuing battle of you being poor, you being locked up in the system, you having no resources, and basically you're looked at as a nobody.
Yeah, and not, like she said, you steady going through the system. Most poor people intentionally get locked up so they can have a meal and a bed and some heat and some clothes and something fresh, even a shower. Like, there's poor people that get trafficked through the system, and it is to a point where police officers, a lot of times out of 10, won't even pick a poor person up because they know that that is the case to what they need. So the stigma on poor people or impoverished people, homeless people, all of that, the main thing is the media does not do enough. The media focus way more, too much on the upperclassmen and what they're doing. That's really not that important. Homeless people need more. They need the help. They need the assistance, and something has to happen.
And to piggyback off that, that's why I feel that this theory is social learning. Like they said before, that you learn how to treat people when you're younger. You learn how to. I feel like now in these days, that you look at a poor person, you got your nose turned up. You can't speak to them. You can't even shake their hand because they stink. You don't want to look them in the face. I know this one man. He's from Minden. He walks around all day, and he wear all the clothes he owns. But every day he comes in Subway, I literally give him something to eat every day. Like it don't matter. I'm gonna give him something to eat. He'll come in and talk to me, and I'll sit there and just hold a conversation with him like it's nothing. And I know that half of my coworkers will run from this man, like, cause he stinks so bad. But this man got more stints than half them in now. He said he graduated high school.
It's just not dehumanizing the person. They're still
people,
humans.
they're a person.
Most people that's on the street are not on the street for substance abuse or being a drug addict or stuff. You have vets that are always on the street, which should never happen, because how can you have people to come serving your country, and where's the media with, at least getting some gremlin, how schools get funded from alumni, so why can't some vets that are wealthy and in the upper class contribute to these things for homeless vets that's on the street? You have people that can work with you and work together to collectively make the neighborhood or the community better as a whole, instead of just trying to throw these people out. It's unnecessary. It's different ways, alternative ways you can go about those situations with homeless people. Most people feel that homeless people are greedy, or they just lazy, and you got disabled homeless people, you got homeless people that are on the street from running away from home.
You don't know their story.
You don't know their story.
You don't know what happened for them to be out here.
Right. We can just take, for example, you have a homeless person, say for example, they do go in to Subway or somewhere else looking for a job. Keep in mind that when you fill out job applications, you have to put an address, you have to put a telephone number, you have to put certain numbers and people to call if, references and such, et cetera, et cetera. If you don't have any of those things, if you haven't had a job in 10 years, then where are you gonna start? If you never had a house in 5, 10 years, where do you put down? Where do you start? And I feel like also that should probably kind of be changed as well. Like when it comes to, I guess, the application process or job hiring process, I feel like they should kind of take into consideration possibly that area sometimes. Because I just feel like you said, if you don't have that, if you don't fill it out, they probably won't even look at your application.